All right. Thanks for tuning in to the last stream from your host, Sigma Jones, for 2021. First and foremost, just want to give a shout out to the subscribers out there. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate the love and support. Hope you all are doing well on this holiday break, yet again. Um, Today is definitely my off day, so I figured I'd go ahead and do one more final stream for 2021 before ringing in the new year. The next time I do a stream won't be until 2022. So definitely want to create a special stream to give special shout outs to people who've been supportive of the channel and have contributed much to the growth, not only to this channel but also to the other channels as well. And also just want to share my plans for 2022 of what's going to be happening next and what's going to be coming down the pipe. So before we get started, just wanted to give a short little dialogue as far as my reflections from 2021. It has definitely been an interesting year. There's been a lot of positives, and there have also been some negatives. Um, Being with the pandemic and all, there have been some unfortunate deaths within the family, and having to take care of some things to be arranged behind the scenes and everything. Um, Dorian, the the Baptismo, it actually posts my Cash App. So if you click on the link, it's actually right there. So, and it's also listed on the main channel as well. But yeah, it is posted within the going throughout the chat. But thanks you for that. But yeah, like I said, just having to deal with some deaths in the family and having to make some arrangements and whatnot, and taking my future into consideration and everything. It's been reflective to be able to understand that yeah, life is precious, and a lot of a lot of things we take for granted for society and all. It could definitely make one understand that you know what, life is too short to wanting to deal with conflict, wanting to deal with all the misfortunes in life. You got to be able to take advantage and be able to make things happen. And that's what I did. I decided, you know what, there's still some things I want to do this year, be able to accomplish and be able to bring forth. And for the most part, I can honestly say 90% of it, I was able to get it done. Um, Especially like for this channel, the Black Ronins, for the War Room. A lot of this stuff this year, I was able to really bunker down and get those things set up and going into the new year, as well as being able to give some content out there to show that, hey, life goes on outside of YouTube. Um, Despite what's going on with the pandemic and how the world is partially in isolation, it still continues on. And eventually the world will reopen back up to more adventures, more reflections, more things to show as far as what I'm seeing and what my co-hosts are seeing, and even you guys that come up here as guests and all um, on the platform, be able to share your experience as well. So that's it was one thing I could give for 2021. It was an interesting year. I'm very grateful to what has transpired, both good and bad, and really can't say too much about it. So, Aiza Sama, thank you, sir, for coming through. And also, thank you, Dorian, for the Cash App donation. Good to see you, sir. Oh, excuse me. Thank you for that, Dorian. Thank you for the donation for that. And Lawrence Guy, Thank you for coming through as well. Shalom, sir. Shalom. All right. So let's go ahead and kind of get down to the fun part, the shout outs and everything, because these are individuals that throughout this year they have been very helpful in contributing to this channel and the War Room channel and all. So I definitely wanted to give them special shout outs before we get into the 2022 plan. And so I have a list. I have a list of these shout outs and all. And I will definitely, some of these guys have their own channels and whatnot. So I will definitely be linking their channels into the chat room. So the newcomers or anybody that don't know them, feel free to go to their channels. There will be some forewarnings on some of these guys' channels, but overall, they're really good guys. They are really some of the top-notch guys I had the pleasure of being able to connect with here through YouTube and offline as well. So definitely hats off to them. All right, so let's get started. So first and foremost, want to give a shout out to my Shinobi bro for the Black Ronins podcast, and that is Kitagakure Jones. If there was anybody that I can honestly say that has been a brother, but we're not blood brothers, it would be something, we were blood brothers, but definitely is very close as a brother to me on this podcast, on the platform, and offline, it is definitely Shinobi Bro. Kitagakure Jones, this is a guy who, when I talk about being an SYSBM practitioner, he's a prime example of that. He goes in and really give his insights from the Japanese culture, gives his insights from the ninjutsu side, which to me is just amazing. To actually know somebody who lives that lifestyle. And besides that, he's just an overall great person. You know, he's doing his thing in the financial world, contributing and whatnot, has a great family, his wife and kids. I can't really say a lot about him because he's just been overall great. So Shinobi Bro, from the bottom of my heart, just want to thank you for definitely being there as a friend, as a brother, as a co-host. You just been amazing. So he doesn't have a channel. He pretty much got rid of his channel 2 years ago and all, but he definitely shows up pretty much every time we have a podcast for the Black Ronins. So if you guys want to catch him on this particular platform, you're in the right place. So you'll definitely see him a lot more here, not only on the Black Ronins podcast, but other upcoming streams as well, different topics and whatnot. So again, shout out to Kitagakure Jones, Shinobi Bro. All right, next up the list is another close friend of mine and a very, very humble person. I know it's hard to believe it in the chats, but he's definitely a humble person, and that is Logic's Finest. He's my co-host for the War Room channel, and the man has a lot of knowledge, and I love the direction that we're going with the War Room. I mentioned this to Eisen because he posted a post on how he loves the analysis that we do on the War Room, and I mentioned how the War Room is besides doing references of historical incidents and talking about, you know, these historical places and people involved, you know, before World War II, the War Room is pretty much a deep dive into human psychology and social engineering. Even myself, some of the things that I'm finding out about a lot of these big players that's going to be coming up in the European theater, like Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, Winston Churchill. You know, it is definitely a very deep dive into how these people became who they became. And a lot of that I have to thank to Logic's finest. He challenges me to really look under every crook and cranny of the small details. And those small details play big dividends because you can look and see that it just has a big role in a lot of these analyses. And, besides that, he always behind the scenes will be showing me some information that will requires me to like really do some deep thinking and reflecting and all. So again, that's Logic Finders for you. So I always recommend anybody that if you can get past a lot of his deep analysis and all. And I tell him a lot. It's like, Logic, he caused a lot of people to kind of get upset and everything because he caused them to think too deeply. He's like, yeah, there's a method behind the madness. Yeah, he's definitely an enjoyable person. I always enjoy the conversations we have both online and offline with Logic's Finest. He's definitely a class act. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, definitely try to reach out to him and all. The link to the War Room is being posted in chat room by Baptismo. So definitely, if you haven't been subscribed to the War Room, I highly recommend you go ahead and do so. If you want to learn more from my co-hosts and all, because he definitely gives a lot to learn. Um, he says that he's not, a real brightest bulb and everything, but in my honesty, when it comes down to a World War II historian, he's top notch. I could prick his brains with the utmost finest details, and he go. It's kind of like we go back and forth with our discussion, especially with World War II stuff. I've never met an individual where I could connect with on this subject on such a deep analysis other than him. And to me, I like that. I really do like that. It refreshes my interest in that topic, World War II, and it also challenged me to do even deeper research. I'll tell anybody outside of work and training, as far as Bushido training and everything, I do a lot of research in World War II stuff. I go and get some more books. I go and try to look up some historical facts and places and everything. It's one of the reasons I decided to create a series within the War Room channel called Relics of the Past. Because it's like, okay, besides talking about these events and places and the people, how about we go out into today's modern world and show and find these relics that are still here to this day? And speaking of that, I have some videos from my trip over to Pearl Harbor earlier this month that you guys are definitely going to enjoy once I get this video together. The experiences that I got from there, also going on the battleship USS Missouri. I didn't get a chance to go on the USS Bowfin, which is a World War II submarine that's over at the Pearl Harbor Memorial site. I wish I had time, but I spent so much time. Excuse me. I spent so much time at the Arizona Memorial, the Battleship Missouri, and then the Aviation Museum. You will definitely enjoy these two films that I'm currently in the works of doing. So those were the Relics of the Past. Definitely want to tune into that. And yeah, there's definitely going to be more like that coming down the pipe. But in any case, shout out to my co-host for the War Room, Logic's Finest. Please feel free to subscribe to the War Room channel in the chat room if you definitely want to get more of that deep analysis. So, it says, I learned from you, sir. I thank you for your fellowship. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I always strive for observation, separation, discernment. The Hakakure, art of war, the prince. Very true. Very true. All right, just one moment. Got a message here. Let's see. Lauren says, Logify is cool. I don't see a problem. Eisen says, I agree. You need people to challenge you to see things from different perspectives, especially when it's rooted in facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he does that every single time on our podcast. He says the same that the Yamato, and the Bismarck were both sunk. That would be amazing museums of World War II. Well, it's something you mentioned about the Yamato. I'm hoping eventually, once Japan open up, I do want to take a trip over to Hiroshima, not only for the ground zero of the little boy bomb, but also there's a museum over there dedicated to the battleship Yamato. I definitely want to go there and do some shootings as well, with my recordings and everything. So definitely coming down the pipe. And JJ Wilson, good to see you, sir. All right. Next on my shout out list is my recent co host for the Culture Bombs, and that is Dr. Phoenix. This is another individual that, if you take the time to get to know him and really, uh, uh, really listen in, he is a very respectable gentleman. Dr. Phoenix is a guy that, if you haven't got a chance, he's somebody I first heard him, sad to say, from the Manosphere and all, but we started to connect behind the scenes, and he's just an awesome guy that really loves giving out information from the medical field. And honestly, I'll tell anybody, Dr. Vitas actually reminds me of my brother. My brother, he's a physician assistant, and I remember the days where he was really pushing himself through medical school to be able to get to that position, and really wanted to contribute to society on a larger scale. And it's amazing because at first he didn't really start off um, in the medical field, but it took an injury in high school that was a career-ending injury, you could say, because my brother is more athletically gifted than I am. I'll tell anybody. But he had an injury in high school that really prevented him from going off to school for, basketball and all. But he took that injury and made it a point to really get into the medical field. And he accomplished it. And Dr. Phoenix reminded me so much of my brother. That's why I always feel that special connection, bringing him on when we have these conversations on the Culture Bomb, because the thing I try to stress the most is there's very few brothers that are willing to give these hard truths. And believe me, they are hard truths. But they're doing it for the purpose of, here's an opportunity to better yourself. And I can honestly say Dr. Phoenix is just an exceptional person, both on the platform and offline. Very exceptional, very knowledgeable, and a person who's willing to give out these knowledge and be helpful if you want it. And that's the key thing, if you want it. And so sometimes if I don't go to him If I don't go to my brother for some like medical interests or just some advice analysis, sometimes I'll hit up Dr. Phoenix to see what's his take on certain things. And like I said, he has no problem answering them to the best of his ability. And so it, he's just somebody that really connects. So unfortunately, he doesn't have his own channel. I think someday he may want to look into starting a YouTube channel on his own, especially in the medical field and all. But he's definitely has a home here on the Culture Bomb, and believe me, there's going to be a lot more of those coming down the pipe. So if you're definitely interested in the Culture Bombs and all, and like hearing Dr. Phoenix give his analysis on things, especially analysis on Black America, because that's a demographic that he works with the most in his profession, then you'll definitely enjoy the Culture Bomb. So let's see what we got here. JJ Wilson, good to see you, sir. I don't know if I shout you out yet, but yep, good to see you. Soul, good to see you, sir. Let's see. SKC, working and listening in. Well, SKC, perfect timing because you're actually next up on my list. So, what was Logic saying? I got you the correct policy and put you on the right team as your Christmas present. Amazon should deliver them today for you. Will you care to send the very best scent? Okay. Whatever that's going on, I'll leave that to Logic and SKC. But in any case, next person that's coming up is Supreme King Coon, SKC. Man. This is a dude from one coon to another. SKC is another guy where I mean we can relate on a lot of topics. He too is one where sometimes I feel like with SKC, when we having our conversations, this is just being brutally honest. I feel like with SKC, you're playing 4D chess. Everybody's playing regular chess or even 3D chess. SKC is playing 4D chess. And I love that about him because he doesn't show his emotions unless you really get to know him. And I love the fact that he can take a situation where most people wouldn't get the humor out of it, but he can find the humor in almost everything. And that's what I really like about SKC. You know, yes, when he's serious and he knows, you know, how to get people to think and everything and really do some analysis as well. But again, this is a guy where he hardly shows his hands when it comes down to what he thinks about what he thinks about certain subjects. But in any case, SKC is a really he's a really awesome guy. He's a big sponsor of both the Black Ronins podcast and the War Room channel. He's the one that has designed the intros for both of the podcasts and everything. And yeah, he's just been an awesome guy, and I look forward to being able to work with him more so in the future on other projects and everything. Yeah, he's definitely a family guy. He's another true SYSBM practitioner, and all. He's just simply an all around guy. He's one where if I'm the samurai type, Kitagakure Jones is the ninjutsu type, SKC is the shogun type. that should give you some ideas of our personalities and everything. But yeah, definitely. In fact, let me go ahead and bring his channel and whatnot. If you haven't been subscribed to SKC, I highly recommend you subscribe to his channel. It's posted there in the chat and everything. Um, if you can, if you can, if you can get past the imagery and just understand what he's trying to portray in his videos and all, like I said, it's amazing work. Besides his analysis and all his graphics and how he put his imageries together and all, I just have to say it's amazing. SKC, hey, you're more than just a husband, a dad, and a serial laugher. I will say that much. Like I said, you two will do some hard analysis and everything, but you do it in such a way where people at first are just thrown off. They just don't get the message. But if you just take the time to just really analyze the imagery, the sounds, what he's portraying in those videos and all, you'll be like, ah, that's what he's getting at. So yeah, but other than that, he, like I said, he's been a great supporter of the Black Ronins and the War Room. Um, I definitely enjoy work with him in the background on some ideas, especially on future projects. We're definitely doing behind the scenes and all. Like I said, SKC, if you haven't been subscribed to him, please subscribe. You would definitely enjoy his videos, his streams, his analysis, all that and more. So, shout out to SKC. All right. Next up on my list is a person who's been a supporter from the get go. He's not a co host, but I think sometime in the future, going on, there's definitely plans we can make some collaborations on different subjects and all. And that is my man, JJ Wilson. Um, this is a guy who is definitely a man about his purpose. And he's also one that he's cool, calm, and collected. I've never seen him get riled up or anything and all, but he's definitely one where he's been very supportive of both the War Room and the Black Ronins podcast from day one. Excuse me. Definitely the Black Ronins podcast, because he really connects a lot as far as martial arts and really training and everything. So he's definitely a guy that I I have no problem if I have to go to war for anybody. That'll be one of my main guys, JJ Wilson. He too has a YouTube channel. If you're one that's very interested in a lot of the animes and the gamings and stuff, he is one channel that I highly recommend. Um, I enjoy the the podcast that he does with another good friend of mine, Ash the Man, the Eternal Vintage Podcast. Um, yeah, they him and Ash the Man do an amazing job with that. I'm hoping, hopefully in the future, if they ever start that back up, they know that I will be there and be of great support to them. But definitely JJ Wilson, I gotta tip my hat off to him. He's just been an awesome person, an amazing person. I highly recommend you guys subscribe to him, show him great support. Um, Definitely an awesome guy. Can't say I really can't say a lot about him because there's so much that he's just been awesome about. So JJ Wilson, shout out to you, sir. All right, what we got here? Logic. He says, still have that next wave of information headed your way as promised. Prepare for another several months down a deep, dark rabbit hole again. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Next up on my list, man, this guy, this man, he is one where I can honestly say that this is another guy who I feel like he's a long lost brother of mine. And even though we may have different pathways of how we go about life and whatnot, I will still say this dude is definitely another brother, like a blood brother, and that is Aizen Sama. This is a guy where I feel like his avatar, especially for those who don't know Bleach. Bleach, in my opinion, is one of the best animes out there, especially in regards to Bushido and being a samurai and everything. I put it up there as one of my top favorite animes, Bleach. And when it comes down to, in my opinion, one of the best animated villains of all time, Aizen is up there. And if you watch Bleach, you'll know which Aizen I'm talking about. But this guy, he has the same personification as the anime villain. And that's what I like about him, because our conversations behind the scenes, especially when we're talking about, you know, the dysfunctions of certain demographics and even just, America and the Western world in general, I can pick this guy's brain and he can pick my brain, and it's just amazing we be on the same level. And so I mentioned how if I'm a samurai, SKC is a shogun, and Kirigakure is the ninjutsu, the shinobi bro. Aizen is that dark lord where if there was say a samurai version of the Yakuza, that would be Aizen. but really, he's just an awesome and amazing human being as well. Um, there's really not a negative bone in his body that I can say about. Yes, Aizen. Hey, Doc Lord. I have to go there because I was like, if there's a dude that's like a villain, but I wouldn't even say a villain, more like an anti-hero, where, he will do things that is like, I don't care. I'm just going to do my thing or whatnot, but maybe when I feel like it, I may contribute a little bit of something to society. That's Aizen Sama. that is Aizen, and he's right. And in regards to Bleach, Aizen has so many profound statements. It makes you really think. Exactly, and you know what? I'm really thinking, and I'll definitely have to get with Soul about this, maybe behind the scenes. But I'm really thinking like we really need to do some streams where we talk about the philosophies of a lot of these characters, and how we relate to them so much and all. Because again, I could talk about the anime version of Aizen and how his thoughts and beliefs is like, yeah, I can actually get down with that. Right, Aizen. Yeah, that's another thing too. So my boy Aizen Sama, he too has a YouTube channel, and I'm going to be posting that right now. But let me just forewarn people. His channel is not for the faint of heart. And I'm actually being serious about that. If you can't take the dialogue that he has, especially his analysis on certain demographics and his true feelings about them and how he sees things from his perspective, do not subscribe if you can't take those hard truths and hard analysis. I like it because, again, we're both on the same page. Um, Definitely, whenever he has his streams and all Sundays, if I'm not busy with training and everything, I make sure to make my way over there to have a chat and give my 2 cents and all. But I mean, yeah, if you like those hard truths and analysis and all, definitely he will be a channel you should subscribe to, and you must subscribe to. So exactly, like he said, the villains always has so many profound statements, especially the mastermind types. I agree. I agree. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that's Aiza Sama. Definitely a very another respectable guy and everything. Very introspective and all. So you definitely need to subscribe if, and that's what I'm saying, if you're willing to stomach it. If you can't stomach it, if you have a fatal heart, don't subscribe because the dialogue and the language may not be suitable for you. But my opinion, I like it. I can deal with it. So, Lars, run away, run away. Oh boy, I like this. This is a laid back chat. I like it. Okay. Next on the list, pulling up the list now. Oh yeah, Isa, no problem at all. Now, next on the list is the founder of the Nerd Pill, and that is Soul Provider Reacts. Um, this is another cool guy where we pretty much hit it off from day one, especially on anime topics and all. His channel is definitely a channel where if you're a brother that's into everything anime, comics, sci-fi, anything you could think of from a nerd perspective, Soul Provider Reacts is that channel to go to. I was definitely enjoy being one of his supporters and all. Definitely from a nerd perspective because I'm a nerd at heart, and so he is also a supporter of the War Room and even the Black Ronins podcast. Those two, you'd be surprised, is actually one of his favorite subjects and all that he likes to come by every now and then. So still overall very great guy, very awesome channel. I highly recommend you subscribe to his channel over there for Soul Provider Reacts. If you love anime and the sci-fi, everything from that subject, Soul Provider Reacts, you gotta. Well, what I'm getting at, Isaac, is Soul Provider, he's the founder of the term Nerd Pill. And I can jump on that anytime because deep down, growing up in school, that's what I was. If it wasn't battleships, it was anime. If it wasn't anime, it was Japan stuff and everything, martial arts and all. And let's be honest, how many black men are really into those type of subjects? Just not many. And so that's why was so I can honestly say I've been heavily into his channel and all because I really do enjoy him and I enjoy being a supporter of his channel. And so he does have a podcast that he does each month called the Otaku Podcast. I highly recommend. If you go to his channel, definitely subscribe to that podcast. Aizen Sama is there as well as my guy Lawrence Guy. He's in there too. Definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. So shout out to you, Soul. And yeah, I'm with you. 2022, let's get it going. Hopefully, so there's some awesome ideas too I have in the background, but definitely me and you can talk about that later on. Um, about those type of things. But yeah, nonetheless, shout out to you, sir. Let's see. Logic says that's why I always loved Megatron. He wasn't the bad guy. He believed in strength through power. Go Google the Sith code. Yeah, yeah, I have to agree with that. All right. Next up on the shout out list is my guy Ash the Man. And this is another individual. I actually met him through JJ Wilson. And this is another guy who is very supportive of the Black Ronins podcast. Um, he's one of the hosts over at the Eternal Vintage podcast he does with JJ Wilson. But definitely every now and then he will pop in through over the streams over here, and he just been a very supportive guy. I'm glad to hear he's doing all right. He kind of had some things he had to take care of behind the scenes and everything, but I'm glad that he's back on and really showing love and support. And likewise, I always try to make it my business to go to his channel too to show love and support. Ash the Man, if you're listening today, good sir, just want to say thank you. Really appreciate you, family. You will always be family to me. And, you know, definitely look forward to hopefully someday collaborating also with you and JJ Wilson. And likewise, the interview I did with Sensei Takai, by all means, sir, definitely have fun with that video. You can use that if you talk about Ghost of Tsushima and everything with JJ. Feel free to use that content because I definitely enjoy the content you and you guys do with your shows. And so Ash the Man, he too has his own channel. Um, he's also one where if you're into anime reviews and some gamings every now and then, Ash the Man, you'll definitely enjoy his channel. Very humble guy, very awesome. Him and JJ, uh, eventually they will get back to doing the Eternal Vintage podcast. Yeah, if you haven't, if you haven't known about Ash the Man, definitely do so. Definitely subscribe. You'll enjoy his content. So, man, I see a lot that's going on in the chat. Let's see what we got. Logic says, Roni Kenchi is my favorite anime of all time. The Batosai was all about the eternal journey of growth, introspection. He elevated his thinking and changed his reality. Yeah, this is just me, I put Roni Kenchi up there with Bleach. I'll put it like this. If some of you guys haven't noticed already, my top 3 animes that will always be my top 3 in this order: Bleach, Roni Kitchen, and Samurai Troopers. Those 3 are always my top 3. There is some wiggle room as far as other animes that come in afterwards, you know, as far as like the top 5 or top 10. But no doubt my top 3 is those 2. And so let's see. Lawrence says, my ex-wife says Megatron is boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, if I had to choose between Megatron and Optimus Prime, I will probably lean more so towards Megatron. Hey, I can, as I get older, I can relate to those guys' philosophies more so. Iori, good to see you, sir. Let's see. I just said Megatron is not a goon. His philosophy is that you need resources to survive. The strong will always rule the weak. That's the natural order of things. We aren't all equal, even in peace. Exactly. Exactly. Oh yeah, so Saint Seiya, I've seen that, and it's actually one of my favorites too. Just not in my top three, but definitely top five. So I'm with you on that on Saint Seiya. See, Isaac says his top three is Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Roni Kitchen. Yu Yu Hakusho is pretty good too. I can say for a fact Yu Yu Hakusho is good. It's not in my top three, but I can definitely say top 10. So that's true. I see a lot of Megatron fans thought I was the lone wolf. SKC, man, you should have known that this was a hotbed for a lot of anime and sci-fi. So I'm not surprised we have a lot of Megatron fans. So yeah, let's see. JJ says, I like Yu Yu Hakusho until a certain YouTuber I recently got after ruined it for me. I'm glad he's not a fan of Outlaw Star. I will puke if he did. Ooh, wow. That's pretty bad. See, Logic says, for Star Trek fans, look at the differences between Section 31, the Obsidian Order, and the Tal Shiar. The Tal Shiar dealt in intelligence and controlled society from the shadows. Hmm, interesting. We've been known of Beast Wars. Oh yeah, Transformers. That's what I grew up on. Beast Wars and everything. Let's see, Laura says the older we get, the more in line with the villains we become. Something there to think about, discuss. Oh yeah, that's what I said. I think, and so I'm gonna get with you behind the scenes, but I think we need to do some streams. We don't have to do it every month or whatnot, but I would love to do some streams where we talk about the philosophies of some of these characters, not just in anime, but like in the comics, in sci-fi films and whatnot. I think that would be a great discussion to kind of really go in-depth analysis on these characters. So, Lawrence, you know what? I'm gonna write that down. I think that would be a really good topic. Um, yeah, even SKC agrees. I think so too. And SKC, I know for a fact you would enjoy these deep analysis and all of these characters and shows, animes and sci-fi's. You know what? 2022, I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, JJ, I think we're gonna do that. So I just had a great idea. Great idea. Okay, let's move along. Um, Next on the list is the founder of the SYSBM moniker and all, and that's Mad Bus Driver X. Um, this is another guy. Can't say I can't say enough about the positive things about him and everything. Um, excuse me. He's been a great supporter of the Black Ronins podcast, behind the scenes and all. Um, he's just a really cool guy. I know when you watch his videos and everything, his videos is mainly talk about guys dating out and whatnot. But behind the scenes, he's a really cool guy. One. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, just a really cool guy. He's definitely one of the big supporters and all. He too has his own YouTube channel. If you enjoy as far as like brothers doing their own thing and whatnot, definitely just recommend it. I was honored when he made me one of his Knights of SYSBM and all. I'm just kind of one where, hey, guys should be able to live their life and do what's in their best interest and all. But you gotta want that life. You gotta be able to go into society and other cultures and be able to connect with others. So yeah, Mad Bus Driver, shout out to him and everything. Just really awesome, great guy, and truly one of the sponsors behind the scene of the Black Ronins podcast. Yeah, can't really say enough about him. Like SKC said, he's one of the most humble guys I've come across on YouTube, bar none, bar none. And the mere fact that he's a supporter of the Black Ronins podcast, especially with us being me and Kitty Knights of SYSBM, um, we're honored to be given that title and being able to be sponsored by him for that. So definitely can't say enough about him. So I see. Lawrence Guy says, even though he's not a villain, my avatar, Mr. Terrific, is actually an atheist, where I'm not. Strange but true. Hey, that's interesting. And I did not know that till now. Let's see. Yeah. And speaking of Mr. Lawrence Guy, he's actually the next person on my list of shoutouts. Um, yeah, Lawrence Guy, another awesome person, another awesome gentleman and whatnot. And his knowledge of comics and sci-fi. That's why I love the fact that him and Logic Finance are getting along in the chat and everything. Because I know if those two were to kind of talk on sci-fi stuff, they can go back and forth. But Lawrence Guy, I met him through Eisen over at his channel and all. And he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but if you're one that's really interested in talks, deep philosophical talks, and definitely as far as like the comics and everything, you can find him either over on Eisen's channel or on Soul Provider Reacts channel. Um, Definitely an amazing guy. I again can't say enough about him. Lawrence Guy is one where he is awesome in my book. Me and him can go back and forth. And every time I see him, he be like, "What up, Doc?" And I'll be like, "Wait a minute, I'm no Doc." And he'd be like, "Well, you got Beast as your avatar," and I have to remind myself, "Oh yeah, that's why." Yeah, but he too is a very awesome guy. And you know what? I think going forward, definitely 2022, I love his idea of doing deep discussions on character analysis and all. Um, I'm definitely going to put that down for next year. That'll definitely be something where if I can get him, Eisen, Soul, Logic Finest, um, JJ Wilson, Ash the Man, SKC, Shinobi Bro, we all get together, have like a one big stream where we just, you know, pick a anime, pick a character, a sci-fi, and we just go in and do our analysis of this character and what are our thoughts and beliefs and whether their philosophy is right or not. I think that would be a great discussion. So definitely going to put down the list one way or another. I'm gonna try to get that to work, but more eugenics. Hey, there's some characters. I think we're gonna talk about that. Share that philosophy. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah, Eisen, I agree. Lawrence Guy gives out a lot of valuable information. Even here in the chat, Lawrence Guy is just also too. He is also a big supporter of the War Room channel. That's another subject too that I think eventually I'm gonna find a way, Lawrence. Definitely when we get into some of the deeper stuff of World War II, definitely in like the 30s or 40s, I'm definitely going to see we can bring you on to kind of give your analysis of these things because that's another person where he is a World War II historian, Lawrence Guy. His analysis on a lot of historical facts and historical things during that time frame is definitely great. He too is somebody that definitely would like to get his inputs on a lot of the stuff we're doing on that channel. So, in fact, he said it right there. Unit 731. I'm there. Yeah, yeah. When we get there, I'm definitely gonna bring you on for that. So, SKC says villain of the month streams. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, for those in the chat, if you would be willing, if you like the idea of we have a villain of the month stream where we talk about any villain that's anime, sci-fi, or comics, anyone that you could think of that has a great philosophy that we could discuss about, put a one in the chat if you would like to have a stream where we talk about villains of the month. I just want to see what people's thoughts about that real quick. I'll put myself on mute. Yes, Eisen, books included too. Okay, so right now I am seeing a lot of ones, and Logic Finance says all across genres. Yeah, that's why I said um, any shows, animes, comics, sci-fi. This will definitely be no host. This will also be a stream. I want to make a kind of series where it's a little bit more fun and laid back, where guys like minded can we can get together and just have one discussion a month where we talk about the philosophies of these villains and what can we relate about them, what we can't. Do we feel their philosophy is right or wrong? I think that will be a great discussion that I think will draw a lot of people. I really believe it will draw a lot of people having those kind of discussions. Um, and also too, I'll throw in there, um, yeah, even fictional characters. So any fictional character you could think of, from any genre and all, any movies, sci-fi's, shows, books, that I think will be a great discussion. So yeah, from what I'm seeing a lot of ones, and let's see, there's a lot of comments too. Just want to go through at the moment. Um, yeah, Logic Lawrence, you'd be surprised. He is very knowledgeable of World War II stuff. I mean, he's a big fan and supporter of the War Room. So you'd be surprised connected with him on that subject. Let's see. A says also, what about favorite anime arcs that focus on character development, setting, villain, outcome? Yeah, I would say villains in that type of genre, they're fair game. Like I said, General Zod, Megatron, the Tal Shiar, even Animal came from the new Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. Lawrence says, if I may, it should be a rounded conversation, correlation to the hero as well as what changed within ourselves that we see now in us that we didn't before. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of us would be on board with that. SKD said might have to choose which villain beforehand so that all can research if they want. Yeah, that's why I said this would be just a once a month type of discussion. Um, and in fact, I would say before we even get started, and we could do this behind the scenes, but go ahead and kind of give a list of some of the villains we want to talk about, and once we get a list, we can kind of compile it of which month we're going to talk about which particular villains, so that way everybody will have time to do their own research, review these characters, and also that way when we, meet up at the end of the month, this will be a discussion where everybody can kind of chime in and give their input. So yeah, and again, this is just preliminary, but I think this will be a great start. So we'll do some more research behind the scenes. Let's see. Logic says hard times create hard men create good times create weak men create hard times. It's a cycle, and men like General Zod and Megatron see that. Even Darth Bane. Yep. Yes, indeed. Jay Wolf, good to see you, sir. Says you could also see if you can add something to the villain, thinking that could make it better. Yeah, that's fair game. Fair game. See, I like this. I like seeing guys being engaging in the chat. So that lets me know this will be a good topic. So we will definitely reconvene on that behind the scenes for sure. Okay, so let me continue on with the shout out list because we already over an hour. Um, Next up on the list is a guy. He's busy at the moment, but he's also a big supporter of both the Black Roners podcast and the War Room, and that's Black Curls. Um, this is a young guy who I would definitely say he is beyond his years. He may be in his early 20s, but he acts like he's he act like he's in his early 50s or whatnot. But he's a really cool guy. At the moment, he's busy with his internship in IT and whatnot. But every now and then, he'll come through on the channel, both the channels, and give his takes and everything. Black Curls, really cool guy. Shout out to him. Definitely look forward to continuing to chat with him behind the scenes and everything. So definitely shout out to Black Curls. And now we move on to three people in particular from the Black Ronins podcast that I want to give a special shout out to. These were guys who they were willing to be interviewed on the podcast, and they contributed tremendously in their own way. And I definitely wanted to give them my thanks and gratitude for just taking the time out of their day to be interviewed on the Black Ronins podcast. First up on that list is Sensei Chuck Johnson. This is a brother who is currently living that lifestyle in Japan. He has his own studio, he has his own dojo, he has his own choreography team, and he's just an all-around great man. And him and his family are just wonderful to talk to and convene. Um, Me and Kitagakure didn't expect his son to make an appearance on the interview, but we glad that he did. That just kind of added a special connection and moment for that interview. Um, yeah, he's just an all around awesome person. Gratitude for his time and sharing his background, his story with us on his journey to Japan and what he made of himself and all. But yeah, Sensei Chuck Johnson. If you haven't been subscribed to his channel, I highly recommend, especially if you enjoy training in martial arts and all. His channel is awesome, very awesome, and definitely want to send a shout out to him and his family going into the new year. Best of wishes and all, and hopefully in the future we will reconnect for more discussions on the Black Rodents podcast. So definitely wanted to give him a special thanks for that. And then next is Sensei Hiro from the Kendo Guide. He is a sensei that we interviewed for learning Kendo and his background as far as his channel, the Kendo Guide, and what he strives for teaching everybody, young and old, about Kendo, which that's a martial arts I'm learning at the moment. So I felt really connected interviewing him to learn more about his perspective and his training of Kendo and teaching it. And he too is a very awesome sensei and teacher. If you haven't been subscribed to him, definitely would recommend it. His channel is posted in the chat right now. And so definitely shout out to Sensei Hiro from the Kendo Guide. You would definitely enjoy his content, especially if you're either doing Kendo or you've never done Kendo before. I honestly believe he's one of the best channels and senseis that you can learn everything Kendo, and even just learning how to properly handle a samurai sword and all. And then last but most certainly not least, the sensei that, yeah, me and Kitagakure, we are still in awe from the interview we did with him back in August. I'll tell anybody, I truly believe Ghost of Tsushima is based off of this guy, in my humblest opinion, because he literally is a modern day samurai. And that is Sensei Takai. This gentleman truly will he will force you to have higher levels of thinking, elevated levels of thinking. Because the way he views life and how he gives you that perspective, not only from his side but even from your side, and can show you how you are thinking and all. Sensei Takai is amazing. I'm looking forward to next year. I will be looking at joining his training, being able to learn under him and everything, especially when it comes to Bushido. I don't know if I'm ready yet to learn ninjutsu, but I know Kitagakure Jones, Shinobi Bro, will probably be reaching out to him to learn from the ninjutsu side. But as far as from the samurai way and Bushido, he will be teaching me that. And I look forward to sharing his teachings, more of his teachings with you all, even if you're not into martial arts and everything. Just his views of the world and how one can improve themselves on a daily basis, I think is worth sharing. very much worth sharing. And like Eisen said, to this day, Eisen, that is still our most top viewed episode of the Black Ronins to date. No other episode has top that episode as of now. So it's still one of our viewed episodes with him. Just his philosophies and everything was just truly, and is truly amazing. So I definitely want to send a special gratitude and thanks to Sensei Takai and his wife. She was also with us to do the interview. She was definitely very helpful and very enthusiastic of this interview and all. Ace, it is episode 18. So if you go on the Black Ronins playlist, his interview is episode 18. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah. JJ said, I tried to reach out to the guy. Maybe next time when the Ronin podcast brings it back, I can reshoot my question. Actually, JJ, if you have any questions to ask about Sensei Takai, and I'll tell this to anybody, if you have some questions that you would like to ask from Sensei Takai, just shoot me an email. And like I said, next year I'll start training under his teachings sometime in the spring. Once that happens, I'll definitely be able to connect with him more and share you guys his questions with him. So, yeah, indeed. Isaac said, yeah, it was that good, so I can understand why. Hey, if Isaac says that was a great interview, then that tells me all I need to know of why it's the top viewed episode from the Black Ronins podcast. Logify says, that sensei is an esoteric man after my heart. I enjoy conversation of elevated thinking. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, just one moment. Just clearing some messages here. Alrighty. Yeah, Eisen, he offered me and Kitagakure Jones to study under him and everything, and I took up on his offer. I told him at the moment I need to get my schedule rearranged, which thankfully is starting to get rearranged, but hopefully in the spring, I'll start to learn under him and go through his teachings and all, and be able to come back and share with you guys as far as what he's teaching us. Like I said, Shinobi Bro, if he goes through, he'll probably be learning from the Shinobi side, the Ninjutsu. I'll be learning from the Bushido, Samurai side, and so we could just give our perspectives from those teachings and be able to share with y'all. So that's definitely one of the goals. So, all right. So that's it for the shout outs. Also, just want to give a big shout out to all of the fans and subscribers. That's one of the reasons why every time I do a stream or a video, I always want to give acknowledgement to the guys who are subscribed to the channel, because you guys make it possible. You guys are the ones that day in and day out will come in and listen in, give your thoughts and all, and just learn from both sides. And so, wow, Eisen, yeah, Hawaiian Kempo days. Wow, you're gonna have to tell me a little more about that. That's interesting. But yeah, definitely shout out to all the guys out there that I didn't name, but you also have been supportive of the channel and all. Definitely want to say you guys made 2021 a very good year. Being able to come through and just listening, enjoying the content and all, you all are definitely the guys that I have to give my thanks and all. And yeah, there's been some women behind the scenes. They don't pop into the channel as much, but they also will listen in behind the scenes, and they too are supportive. But it's mainly you guys that come in and day out. Whenever we have these streams that really contribute to it. So definitely just want to give my thanks to you guys. And so shout out to everybody. Okay, so to finally wrap up this stream, just going to talk about what's the plan going forward into 2022. Now, for the Black Ronins podcast, pretty much it's still going to remain the same. We got so many topics to talk about. There's some people that I'm connecting with behind the scenes to get set up for more interviews, both men and women. And so that hasn't changed much. Hopefully one of the goals for the Black Ronins podcast is we're hoping by next spring, Japan should reopen up to international travel. We're hoping once that's the case and they remain open throughout the rest of the year, the plan is hopefully between October and November, myself, Sigma Jones, I'll be making a trip over to Japan. And we're looking to maybe do at least one live stream where I'm actually in Japan, kind of giving my perspective, walking around. You guys can see some things as far as like walking in the forest, going to Japanese garden, going through to many of the temples and all. That's hopefully one of the goals we're looking to try to accomplish next year for the Black Ronins podcast. But all else fails, the podcast will still go on. We still got interviews that are hopefully going to be lining up to give to you guys and all. That's the main plan for the Black Ronins. And also, we're looking to hopefully start selling some merchandise of the Black Ronins podcast. And even we're looking at eventually we're going to share some of our podcasts on a radio format like Spotify, so you guys will be able to listen in through that connection as well. And even try to get some more spread out and get some more fans through there. But definitely that's the goal for the Black Ronins podcast. Me and Shinobi Bro and SKC, we always are talking behind the scenes about this podcast, improvements and all, and what we can do for our special little projects and everything. So that's the goal and function for Black Ronins going into 2022. Now for the War Room. Now, the War Room channel, we're definitely going to continue with our deep analysis and discussions. We also have plans on that channel to bring in some individuals, other historians, other guys who are subject in different areas of World War II, bring them on for interviews and all, and give their perspective and discussions. The War Room is also a gaming channel, so I will be doing some more gaming channels from World of Warships and also World of Warplanes. So I think I'll eventually too go ahead and do a World of Tanks as well, just do the trifecta to get that going. But yeah, I definitely will continue to do that and all. And as well as with the Relics of the Past, I definitely have some plans going on for that. Logic Finest will tell you, we talk about, okay, what places should I visit to kind of do some more video shots, to make some more content for the Relics of the Past, and he would give his idea of places. I would give mine. So I have a list of places both here in America and overseas that eventually going to try to make some trips so we can do some video shots of these historical places and everything. Yeah, that's a plan for that for the War Room channel. So more deep discussions, more analysis, more video gaming with that, as well as more interviews for the War Room channel. We're definitely going to get that going. Okay, before I continue, there definitely seems to be a lot. Yeah, Eisen, I can't wait for it too. We're definitely going to make some really good ones. And JJ, thanks for stopping by, good sir. Yeah, always a pleasure having you around. I said, World of Warships, you got to get it on Steam. That way we could game sometime. Yeah, that's why I'm looking into it, Eisen. I think eventually I'm going to go ahead and go that route with Steam just to complete the trifecta. So I will definitely do that. So yeah, that's that. And then plus, besides the War Room, besides the Black Ronins podcast, there's going to be more discussions on the culture bomb. Um, we got a big one coming down the pipe where it's going to be more than just me and Dr. Phoenix on the culture bomb. But yeah, we definitely got more of those subjects coming down the pipe for culture bomb. And now, thanks to SKC, I'm definitely going to be working behind the scenes of the villains of the month, because based on you guys' feedback, I think that will be a really good panel to bring up guys that are really into character analysis and everything. The guys in the chat room and all. That will be a great discussion. And I definitely feel like that will be something to where, outside of the Black Ronins, outside of the War Room and the Culture Bomb, that will be a good discussion once a month to really bring some like-minded brothers, talk about these characters, and talk about how we can relate to them, how they have changed our ways of thinking, or maybe even give us new perspective, because I'll be honest, there'll be some characters where I didn't even know about. But somebody like Lawrence, Logic's Finest, Eisen, SKC, Soul, they bring up these characters, and I learned something new from them. So that would definitely be something behind the scenes I think we're going to look forward to doing. So I'll be working on that. Those that's in the know in this chat, be expecting me reaching out to you to kind of get together, get some lists of guys, villains, from your genre, and we start getting that together. I think that would be a really awesome stream. But all right, with that said, it is almost 2:30 here in the Mountain Standard Time. Just want to once again thank everybody for a great 2021. It has been an awesome year, and even though there's been some up and downs and whatnot, behind the scenes and everything, just doing these streams for you guys has been awesome. It really is, and I can't thank you guys enough. And so 2021 is slowly coming to a close this week. The next time you see a podcast from both here and the War Room, it'll be in the year 2022. So looking forward to you guys. Hope you all be in good health and productive in whatever you're doing outside of YouTube. But once again, just want to thank you guys for contributing and being very awesome. And so, till next time, I am Sigma Jones. Thanks for being here for 2021. Looking forward to seeing you guys in 2022. Until next time.